ತುಂಬಾ ಫಂಡ್ಗಳಿವೆ. ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಪರಿಹಾರವನ್ನು ನೀಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಆಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಎಫ್ಒಎಫ್. ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ ತನ್ನ ಇತ್ತೀಚಿನ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯಾದ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಆಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಎಫ್ಒಎಫ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಮಾಡುವುದಾಗಿ ಘೋಷಿಸಿದೆ. ಒಂದೇ ಫಂಡ್ನ ಮೂಲಕ ವಿವಿಧ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ಬಂಡವಾಳೀಕರಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಯಾತ್ಮಕ ಹಂಚಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಹೂಡಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಸರಳಗೊಳಿಸಲು ವಿನ್ಯಾಸಗೊಳಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. ರಿಟೇಲ್ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸುವಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏರಿಕೆಯ ಹೊರತಾಗಿಯೂ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಶೇಕಡ 8 ಸಾಧಾರಣವಾಗಿ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ. ಮೇ 2025 ಫಾರ್ಚೂನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಇತ್ತೀಚಿನ ವರದಿಯ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಚೀನಾ 15.20%, ಯುಎಸ್ 45.50% ಮತ್ತು ಜಪಾನ್ 55.60% ನಂತಹ ದೇಶಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಗಮನಾರ್ಹವಾಗಿ ಕಡಿಮೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಉದ್ಯಮವು ಘಾತಿಯ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಕಂಡಿದ್ದರೂ ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಹೂಡಿಕೆದಾರರ ನೆಲೆಯು ಸುಮಾರು 5.53 ಕೋಟಿಗಳಷ್ಟಿದೆ. ಆಂತರಿಕ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆ ಜೂನ್ 2025 ಇದು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೂಡಿಕೆದಾರ ಸ್ನೇಹಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸರಳೀಕೃತ ಪರಿಹಾರಗಳ ಅಗತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಒತ್ತಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತದೆ. ಅನೇಕ ಹೊಸ ಹೂಡಿಕೆದಾರರಿಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಪ್ರವೇಶ ಬಿಂದು ಮತ್ತು ಸೂಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯಮಯ ಫಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡುವುದು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಸವಾಲಾಗಿ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ. ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಎಫ್ಎಂ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ, ಮಧ್ಯಮ ಮತ್ತು ಸಣ್ಣ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಮಾಡುವ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಯಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡುವ ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಪರಿಹಾರದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಪರಿಹರಿಸುವ ಗುರಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದೆ.
There are large cap funds, mid cap funds, small cap funds. All these funds are available. Large and mid cap, flexi cap, multi cap. So for a common investor, it becomes very, very difficult to choose funds. And even if they want to go, then there will be whether is this the good time to invest in large cap or small cap or mid cap? That's the other thing which investors grapple with. Then even if you get the entry point, when is the exit point? That's also another problem. So there are plenty of problems. And then if you get all of this right, what happens is that when you move out of one fund to another fund, there is a taxation also. So you're understanding from an investor's perspective how confusing it is. One, plenty of funds. Two, then where to go in that plenty of funds, whether it is between large, mid, small, multi, flexi. And the third thing is, even if you get it right, when to exit. And also, even if you are exiting right also, which is a very rare kind of phenomena, tax also hits you. So how do you solve all these problems with one fund is what we are trying to do. So this is what I was saying, this is basically every calendar year how various market caps have performed. Large cap, mid cap, small cap. You understand what is large cap, what is mid cap, what is small cap. Can you see different signs, which means green is the best and then orange is the next best and red is the next best. So if you see, winners always keep on changing. Can you see for 1 year large cap has done well, second year mid cap has done well, third year small cap has done well, again large cap. So it is very difficult to predict also, where to actually which one will do well. So that is the first point I want to make, because this is very clear, no? Ki every year winners keeps on changing. Now the taxation, even if you get the winners right, the issue is after 1 year when you switch, suppose let's say you have invested in a large cap fund or a mid cap fund. Now after 2 years, it looks like small cap will do well, so you want to switch to small cap. So it becomes difficult, no? Because when you switch, or when you redeem, there is a capital gain tax also which is getting impacted, and this all impacts returns, right? So in order to solve all these issues is what this fund of fund structure is, which means this is a fund which will invest into different kind of funds. Like it can invest into large cap, it can invest into multi cap, it can invest into mid cap, it can invest into small cap, all union funds. And we will change at mutual fund level, we will change the allocation depending upon our expertise. So I'll also explain how we are going to change from one place to another place, but it is up to us. So investor don't have to now move from one fund to another fund and all those things. It is our expertise which will this thing. And the third is diversification, because since you are getting 2-3 funds, you are actually diversifying. In a normal fund, what happens is that there will be one fund manager. right? You will invest into, let's say, Union Multi-Cap Fund or a Flexi-Cap Fund. It will be managed by one fund manager. So there is a risk of one single guy. Wherein with this fund, you are buying into, you can have a little bit of multi-cap, little bit of small cap. So you are actually getting exposed to 3-4 fund managers. So you are actually getting more diversification of, like stock portfolio. So hence we believe that at any point of time, this is a fund which investors should look on rather than getting into specific. So leave it to the mutual fund company to decide the allocation between market caps, between different funds, etc. It is a complete portfolio which is getting bundled in one fund. So obviously, where will it invest? It will invest into equity funds, 90 to 100%, and rest would be 0 to 10% depending upon cash allocation, etc. And for meeting redemptions, etc. we can keep up to 10% this thing. But it is broadly 90 to 100% we will invest into equity funds only underlying. How will we do the entire jugglery between one fund to another fund? We look at valuations, we look at relative growth prospects. For example, let's say we will look at between large cap, mid cap, and small cap, which is valued at what kind of valuation relatively, which is cheaper, which is expensive. That's one way to look at it. We also will look at next future years, what is the relative growth prospects in these three segments, and then we go with the best growth prospect segment. We also will look at historically how valuations have behaved in various cycles. So there are various metrics which we use to identify the underlying funds, and keep on, if at all required, keep on change the funds also. So that is what this fund does for all. And whenever we do inside whatever changes in funds, etc., we as a mutual fund structure, we don't pay any tax. So that is the biggest advantage also. So inside the fund structure, you don't pay any tax. And finally, for the investor, what is the taxation? And that is also a big change. And why people wouldn't have thought about launching this kind of category earlier is because earlier the fund of fund taxation structure was not very conducive. So last budget, taxation structure changed for fund of funds. If you hold as an investor for 2 years, then it is 12.5%. Otherwise, before last year, whatever fund of fund you invest and hold, and whenever you sell, it was always whatever tax bracket you are, or marginal taxation as we call as, which was much higher. But now we are getting, finally for the investor, you are finally only taxed at 12.5% at the end of the journey.